segment. We are going to emerge -pvt eselect repository. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the page over here of what exactly eselect repository is. So app eselect, scroll towards the bottom, repository. Now all it says is manage repos.conf via eselect. It does a little bit more than that. That's actually kind of underselling it. Now, Arch users are probably familiar with the Arch user repository, the AUR, as a source of packages for Arch, which expands beyond the Arch base repository, I guess you could call it. eselect repository is, I suppose, somewhat like that, but also very, very different. All of these are alternative repositories for Gentoo Linux. There are a few of them that are officially supported. To my knowledge, Guru is officially supported, and Guru is, I forget what it stands for. It stands for something, I just forget what it stands for. But the Guru repository is essentially, I would suppose, the closest thing to the AUR that Gentoo has. However, as you can see, there are a lot more things that this has access to. Some of them, however, for example, let's go back up to Guru 147. eselect repository 147, enable. Now, emerge /sync Guru. You'll see under this it says command not found git. Type emerge dev vcs git to enable git support. So that is what we will need to do. Repository Guru is missing master's attribute. You don't say. That might be because Git is not installed, thus Guru has not been able to update just yet. Anyways, let's go back here and show what actually is under dev VCS. VCS stands for version control system. Under here we have darks, we have CVS, we have Git, and we've got Subversion, which is an SVN front end. Any one of these could be used for one of the packages under eselect repositories. Any one of them could be used, including rsync itself, Git, darks, CVS, SVN, so on and so forth. Any of them could be used. And it's just a matter of adapting when you see that something uses something that you're not expecting. Yes, you see this thing says parent project Gentoo. So this is an official project of the Gentoo project. In fact, you'll see, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Michael Gorney. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but his name is on a whole lot of stuff regarding Gentoo. I think he's like one of the lead developers or something. Go to the English Wikipedia page and Gentoo Linux. That's what Wikipedia has to say about Gentoo Linux. And go figure, at the bottom it mentions Arch Linux and Linux from scratch. Of these two, I would say Arch Linux is probably the next easier one, and Linux from scratch is the next harder one. I do not think it's possible to have a Linux distribution that is more difficult to install than Linux from scratch. I'll probably end up having to do it at one point sometime in the future, but as of right now, no. Special releases. It's almost done. Now we will sync up Guru, and you'll notice the sync process is a little bit different from the regular Gentoo repository. So, what's under this? var/db/repos/guru. You'll notice that the structure looks very similar, although Guru has it has somewhat fewer options as opposed to the default Gentoo repository. We are given a number of different options. So for example, let's look at dev lang. This actually gives us a very interesting language. We've got FBC right here. We've got FBC and FBC Bootstrap. You actually need to install, I think you need to install FBC Bootstrap in order to install FBC, because FBC is free basic, and it's actually programmed in free basic apparently, or at least it has some dependencies that rely upon free basic already being installed, which seems a little bit on the absurd side to me. However, that's one of the things that you can install. I do have to wonder what www clients it has. NYXT Next Tor browser launcher. Yeah, it's in case you want the Tor browser. I don't know what Bad Wolf, Browsh, VIMB, or Woob is. But this is actually just the somewhat less sane side of Gentoo Linux. And as you go into the more specialized repositories, I could reasonably assume that it only gets less and less sane. ButterFS heat map. That actually sounds like it would be useful. I mean, if you're trying to figure out what files are being the most updated on ButterFS file system or something, I guess that's what it does. Enough of that. Let's look at the games. Okay, so games action. AT Launcher, no idea what that is. Black Voxel, never heard of it. DDNet, never heard of that. NetTrek, Technic Launcher. No idea what that. Space Cadet Pinball? No way. Are they talking like the Space Cadet Pinball, like the one that came with Windows XP? I think it was. That'd be pretty awesome. Anyways, moving on. We've got board games, some kind of Mahjong variant. The rest, I have no idea what those are. Games emulation, we've got Citra. We've got DOSBox X. Duck Station, no idea what that is. Flycast, I'm guessing that's a Dreamcast thing. Mupen 64 plus QT, that's definitely N64. NP2 Kai, I have no idea what that is. RPCS3, I know very well what that is. That's a PS3 emulator. And Yuzu, I got no idea what that is. Game engines, we got Boxtron, FS2 Open, Instead, Lux Torpeda, and NX Engine Evo. No clue, so let's go on. Assault Cube, Crispy Doom. I guess that's a Doom variant, because it says Doom on it, and it's under Games FPS, so. I'm going to go ahead and guess here that that's an Among Us server. That's my best guess. Wait, no. I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. Custom launcher for Final Fantasy XIV Online cross-platform rewrite? Wonder what's masking it. Of course, I also have to wonder if this is like, if by FF14 they're talking about like original like 1.0 FF14, or if they're talking about FF14 Realm Reborn, because the code base for those two games, the games look similar, but the code base behind them is so different that they're not the same thing at all. No, it's just tilde AMD 64. I would have to look into that at one point or another. Of course, it is just a launcher, and I don't think Square Enix would have too much issue with that. But since we found this repo under app eSelect, eSelect repository, seems only amusing that I should check app eSelect under Guru. eSelect LD, eSelect Vala, eSelect BlueSpec, and eSelect AutoStart. That's it. For some reason I was expecting something a little bit more amusing than that. In any case, this is what you can do with the eSelect repository package along with certain other packages. And once again, the list of repositories that you can install is very, very big. But I would say the ones that you should probably be most concerned about is Steam overlay. If you're interested in running Steam on Gentoo, you probably want that one. And like I said, we got Guru here And there are a number of other overlays which I have absolutely no idea what they do or how useful they are. This is just a rundown of the overlay system. If you can find a use for it, I'd say have fun with it. That's all for this video.